Hello and welcome to the ISQ 7000 TSQ 9000 source instruction for AEI source cartridge disassembly, cleaning, and reassembly. In this video, we will demonstrate how to disassemble the AEI source cartridge, indicate the proper cleaning techniques for each component of the AEI source cartridge, and reassemble the AEI source cartridge. The individual components of the AEI source cartridge are held in place by the filament retainer. Slide this piece off the source sleeve to liberate the components. Once this piece is removed, the individual components can be removed. Before moving forward, take note of the cleaning instructions for the various components within the AEI source cartridge. These components are not in the sample path. Rinse and sonicate only as needed. These components are in the sample path. Scrub with aluminum oxide, rinse and sonicate. These components are not in the sample path. No cleaning is required. If the component becomes contaminated, it must be replaced. Some of the parts in the AEI source cartridge may also be used in the EI source cartridge. The dual filament assembly, Lens 2 and Lens 3 assembly are the same part as used in the EI source cartridge. We'll begin with the AEI source sleeve. Pay attention to the landmarks as we reassemble. This is the Lens 3 assembly. Notice the landmarks. All source cartridge components are keyed to ensure proper reassembly. The tooth on the bottom of the Lens 3 assembly secures into the notch on the source sleeve. Place Lens 3 into the source sleeve. Next is Lens 2. Notice that there are two openings, a large and a small opening. We will insert this component with the small opening side first. The next piece is the ion volume insulator. Notice that it has several landmarks. We will insert the component so that the long half-depth notch goes in first, into the left side of the sleeve. The shorter notch will be in the downward position. Ion volume insulator inserted. Here we see the long half-depth notch with correct orientation. Next is the ion volume. The most important landmark is the notch. This notch will key to the ion volume insulator and ensure that the two components are installed correctly. The long half-depth notch of the insulator is not squared up, so the ion volume cannot seat correctly and we see a large space. Both the ion volume and the ion volume insulator are seated and mated properly. There is no space. This is the filament insulator. This component has a toothed edge and a smooth edge. This is the filament shield. It is non-directional. The smooth edge of the filament insulator is inserted first. This is the filament assembly. This piece has a few landmarks. However, the filament wires which connect to the interface board are the primary key, which may only exit the source cartridge in one direction. When looking down the source sleeve, the wires should be oriented to the left. This key will fit with the notch in the next piece, which is the filament spacer. This is the filament spacer. This notch will combine to the notch on the filament assembly. The final component is the filament retainer. It is channeled and slides onto the source sleeve to hold the components in place. Thanks for watching this video. Now you should be able to disassemble the AEI source cartridge, properly clean the components of the AEI source cartridge and reassemble the AEI source cartridge.